If you ever feel like you've hit rock bottom, just know that at least you aren't Brad Taste in music. This one tweet perfectly summarizes the historic downfall of Brad Taste in music. He went from being an internet lolcow with a passion for on-camera meltdowns
It's like every day is hard,
to a straight-up villain.
Stop being such a wimp. Look at me and accept what you have done to me. Did you see what I've become? Look at me in the eyes and say that again. Look at me. Tell me.
He verbally abused his girlfriend Tina for years, got arrested for it, and all he had to say in his defense was that he tends to, quote, get very loud.
Like, when I get very angry, or even excited, or just anything, like, I get very loud.
Well, he actually had quite a bit to say after the truth came out. Most of it, however, was just him trying to gaslight his audience into believing he was the real victim in all of this.
See, I'm really scared of her because she's smarter than me. When our relationship, like, I'm younger than her, and I never really had a strong foundation, like at home.
Unfortunately for Brad, there's no one left to buy into his sob stories anymore. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we're going over the catastrophic downfall of Brad Taste in music, how he single-handedly ended his career through a string of controversies, and above all, his inability to admit fault or just shut up. And at this point, I doubt there's anything he can do to repair the damage that's already done. But there's one thing you can do right now that'll definitely help: subscribe. So hit that subscribe button and let's get into the video. Now, I already made a video about Brad back in October of 2024, going over the many controversies that were ruining his career and, by extension, his life at the time. But if you haven't seen that video, here's a super fast recap to get you up to speed. Bradley Lemon, better known as Brad Taste in Music, started his YouTube journey in April of 2018, and over the next few years managed to build a fairly successful career for himself as a music reviewer. At one point, he was charging up to $400 from fans for album review requests. But then he let the fame and fortune get to his head, got addicted to weed, and it was all downhill from there. From publicly promoting and defending a YouTuber with takes as horrendous as "consent is stupid, grape is natural and necessary for a happy and healthy society," to scamming his own editor out of hundreds of dollars, and then freaking out on stream for seemingly no reason.
I under no circumstance can listen to this album right now because I am not safe in my own home, and I really can't describe much else.
The last time I talked about him, he was showing signs of progress and even revealed that he was going to rehab to improve his situation.
Letting you know that I am going to rehab. Yep, about 2 months. It's intensive outpatient care.
This was a step in the right direction, so I ended the video by wishing him luck. So here's to hoping he completes rehab, takes time for his mental health, and returns to a better man. Unfortunately, no one, including myself, could have predicted just how insane Brad's downfall would get. Now, things actually started off okay, with him actually completing his rehab program and returning to making his usual content. The fans couldn't have been happier, with comments like "rehabilitated taste in music, happy for him," and "yay, one of my favorite YouTubers got me into reviewing music, glad to see it." But then, in March of this year, he disappeared from YouTube completely, practically out of nowhere. Fast forward to July 24th, 2025, and he returned with a video simply titled SI, referring to the mental health term suicidal ideations. This was a bit worrying at a first glance. However, the video actually started off on a fairly positive note, with Brad coming to terms with his downfall.
For some reason, like 11 months ago when like everything went down with my channel, I've just been like contemplating the perfect video, you know, that'll fix it all. I'll just say the right words and everything will go back to normal. I have learned since then that that is not reality, and I don't want it to be reality.
But then he started explaining what was going on behind the scenes, and things fell apart quickly. A few minutes into the video, he began trash talking his ex-fiancée Tina, how she made the situation even worse by apparently getting mad at him for not resolving the controversies more quickly, ultimately stressing him even more than he already was.
Like doing a stream, and then I left. I go to the kitchen. I see her sitting on the couch like screaming and crying, and I'm pissed off because like I'm trying to focus to get work done.
He also accused her of secretly recording one of their arguments, which he felt was highly immoral.
I was fucking pissed. I was just like mad because I'm trying to fucking figure everything out in like an impossible situation. You know, trying to get things back to normal so that like we could live a normal fucking life. And she repays me by recording me in my house without my knowledge. She sends it to my parents. She sends it to friends. She sends it to people who are associated with Hive Mind.
He ended this segment about Tina by disclosing that she apparently called the cops on him and got him arrested for domestic violence, when all he wanted was to end the relationship and to make her leave.
I pay the bills for this entire place, you know, like I'm keeping it up. You don't contribute shit to the equation. Get out. She calls the cops on me, and they have me arrested for domestic.
Now, Brad was likely hoping to farm sympathy points with this video. Why else would he share such a massive part of his private life that no one was asking him about? His relationship was a thing of the past. The viewers had moved on by this point. Even if we give him the benefit of doubt, this was still a case of extreme oversharing with the internet, and maybe Brad would have actually received the sympathy he was looking for, if not for the fact that his entire story was manipulated to throw all of the blame on Tina and make himself look like the ultimate victim. Something about this video felt disingenuous, especially when the true feelings slipped out, like when he insinuated that getting disowned by Hive Mind, a music YouTube channel he collaborated with, after Tina sent them the recordings, was worse than losing his partner of 5 years.
It's one thing like losing your partner, it's another thing like with losing Hive Mind.
This hinted at the possibility that he never truly cared about Tina in the first place, which, in turn, called his entire story into question. Luckily, fans didn't have to wait long to hear the other side of the story from Tina. A day later, Tina came forward on Twitter in a response to this video, writing, "Might be time to deplatform my abuser," and honestly, he's doing a pretty good job of deplatforming himself. In other words, Tina essentially accused Brad of being the abuser instead of the victim he was making himself out to be. Later the same day, she came out with a much more detailed thread going over her experience and why she stayed quiet all this time, stating, "I'm sifting through the many notes, audio recordings, and screenshots I have dating back to 2019. I'm not sure how much I want to share, if any. Please understand, I spent 5 years with this person, and he was paying me to work with/for him for less than 2 years of that. I do not want him to hurt himself, and I do not want to get into legal trouble. I have been silent for the past year because I wanted to see him get better, and I desperately wanted to move forward with my life after spending half of my 20s being abused. It's clear he still wants to punish me for the consequences of his own actions. This is not a new thing for me, as he did that the entire length of our relationship. After almost 6 years of trying my hardest to protect him, despite the abuse, I just don't have it in me anymore. I am not a public person, never have been. I am trying to handle things in the best way that I can. Right now, I just need time to figure out the best way to move forward. I don't have anything compiled or prepared, because revisiting it is incredibly triggering. Put simply, she went through a lot, and was still on the fence about taking part in a drama about a relationship she escaped months ago. The internet, on the other hand, was quick to make a decision. Given the strange tone of Brad's video and his previous actions, many believed that Tina was the one telling the truth, resulting in overwhelming support for her, and just as intense backlash for Brad. A big part of this also stemmed from his own fans who'd seen Tina in the background of his content countless times, recognizing that she was far from the bad person Brad was making her out to be, with one such comment on Reddit stating, "We really went from Brad being an up-and-coming reviewer with a unique persona and good audience engagement on stream, to him being a domestic abuser lolcow. This is somehow a little bit worse if you've watched his content in the past. Tina, his now ex, was legitimately one of the most supportive people I've ever seen. Ever. She would help him out on stream, talk to chat, bring him food, managed his socials for a while during/after he got hacked, and defended him tooth and nail in her personal account many times. It was beyond a, oh, he's my partner and I got to support him thing. She actually did everything in her power to make things better and easier for him. I can't imagine what the F he was thinking when doing all of this. He was even dropped by his label Flex Entertainment on the same day. This only added more fuel to the fire, burning a hole through Brad's reputation. After all, why would a company remove one of its biggest moneymakers if he was innocent? Surprisingly, Brad's reaction to all of this was far more level-headed than anyone would have expected, or at least that's how it started out, and then became progressively worse with each passing day. On the 27th of July, he uploaded a new video titled Just 2. This was a direct follow-up to his SI video, and while he didn't address the allegations directly, he did admit that his previous video was terrible in all regards.
I released a video a few days ago, and it was something that was called SI, and it was supposed to be talking about my experience with, battling through all this mental health shit for the last year, and it was a fucking terrible idea. The video ended up being extremely exploitative of my ex.
He also apologized to his audience and announced a year-long break away from the internet.
I am going to disappear for a year, and see around this time next year if I'm ready to try again. Because I'm clearly not ready for this, and I am rightfully being called out for honestly just terrible behavior, extremely irresponsible behavior. And I'd like to give I would like to just say sorry.
Now, Tina never liked the idea of opening herself up to the internet in the first place. She just wanted to move on with her life, as evident from her next couple of tweets, reading, "I've decided that I'm not going to speak publicly on the Brad situation beyond these tweets. I just want to close this chapter and move on with my life. The only thing I want to clarify based on things I've seen being discussed is that he never hit me or physically abused me, and I'm going to continue silently rooting for his rehabilitation and working on healing the wounds that this whole recent situation reopened. Thanks again for all the support and kindness." And as much as the internet might have wanted to make Brad pay for whatever wrong he did in their relationship, it was ultimately Tina's decision to pursue that outcome or not. So had things ended here, the controversy likely would have blown over in days. But knowing Brad, that was never going to happen. He has a habit of continuing to make things worse for himself. And sure enough, that's exactly what he did this time around as well. His year-long break didn't even last 10 days. He was back to streaming and making videos on August 4th, and not with his usual content involving reviewing music. Instead, this one was a 50-minute freestyle rap session about how horrible Tina was.
Cause of the shit that she would say, just to ruin my fucking day. My God, telling you, it's like blackmail on my iPod on repeat, man. She was letting people think that I beat her just so that.
He likely saw Tina back down and interpreted her patience as cowardice, giving him the confidence to come back just to mock and belittle her further. But this was a step too far, and the viewers were having none of it. Man made a 50-minute diss track on a woman he abused. What the actual F? Now he's in the career nerfing stage. This guy is far gone from getting help. I'm sick to my stomach that I was a fan of this guy. The backlash was intense enough that he went back to his default setting of looking miserable and gaslighting his audience. On August 5th, he uploaded yet another video titled My Statement, trying to explain his side of the story once again. And just like before, it was filled with nothing more than lies and gaslighting, with him literally opening the video with his victimhood complex.
So, let me start this very dramatic speech by saying, that the last week or two, I haven't even been keeping track, the last week or two, it's really hurt.
This was also the video where Brad dropped the mask entirely and then tried to justify his verbal abuse by, get this, claiming that he's just a naturally loud person.
Like, when I get very angry or even excited or just anything, like, I get very loud. Like, I use my voice and the volume of it to really express it. So basically, for me though, like, my family, everyone I've been around my whole life is loud. They talk over each other, they yell at each other, but they never mean anything bad by it, so I never really saw anything wrong with it. They're just trying to be heard and get their point across and, you know, show their emotions. And so that's like me when I'm yelling.
Fed up with his BS and constant narrative twisting, Tina finally made the tough decision to go full scorched earth on Brad. So on August 6th, she gave the YouTuber, the Op Block, full permission to release the recordings of the incident that led to Brad's arrest. And they were far worse than anyone could have imagined. But before we get into the actual recordings, there's some important context we have to understand. First of which is that this incident took place not long after the controversy about Brad essentially scamming his editor, which is why Brad tried to present Tina as the abuser by accusing her of stressing him out and making his already tough situation worse. Secondly, Tina made two recordings, one of the incident that led up to his arrest and another of the events leading up to it. And to say that Brad sounds like an unhinged maniac in both would be a severe understatement. Before we go any further, I just want to give a quick trigger warning to anyone sensitive to yelling and verbal abuse. From here on, the video does get quite disturbing. It starts with Tina trying to groom her two dogs, when, out of nowhere, Brad starts pestering her about what she was thinking.
My own head. I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
Literally just
Real.
while I'm brushing my dogs, I'm just thinking. And you are asking me what I'm thinking about and not letting me not tell you. You are not letting me have privacy in my own.
And as she refuses to engage in his nonsensical hang-ups, Brad begins freaking out and yelling at her, calling her all sorts of names and practicing every single gaslighting technique in his arsenal.
So if you say something to me, if I say something.
No, if you want to be combative, we can continue being combative because clearly you are not paying enough attention to this conversation.
I'm just trying to understand. So if
How about you stop doing what you're doing with the dogs, look at me in the eyes, and just tell me the truth, Tina?
The truth he's talking about here is literally nothing. It's not like Tina was hiding some big secret from him that he had to know, but even if she was, his behavior from here on would still be classified as completely appalling.
Without being a sarcastic bitch, look at me in the eyes and tell me the truth.
With him threatening to call the cops and to make up lies to get her removed from the home they have a shared lease on.
You can honest to God get the out of my house.
Both of our names are on the lease. So that's not gonna happen. And also, you are not
I'm
entitled.
gonna call the police.
Yeah,
I will get you out of here.
Both of
I will make a story up. I will get you out of here,
both
Tina.
of our names are on the lease, so you will not be doing that. And
I will say my partner has been emotionally abusive and I've asked her to leave many times. And despite the fact that I have no support system, she has refused to leave and has continued to emotionally abuse me.
And when Tina finally broke down, he immediately switched back to gaslighting and started accusing her of acting like the criminal in true crime videos.
you're not treating me like a partner.
You're looking around looking for excuses, Tina. I literally am watching your body language.
I can't look in your
You
eyes.
look like one of those freaks on the fucking interrogation videos.
I can't look in your eyes.
Every single thing you're doing is full of shit. You're literally acting like the fucking criminals there, Tina. Like every action. I could record it. And it would be like, Tina's looking to the left while immediately, he asks a question and her eyes are moving around as she's looking quickly for an answer.
I have trouble with eye
because
contact.
no, you don't,
Yes,
Tina.
I do.
You are a lying, manipulative person.
However, all of this paled in comparison to the horrors she went through in the second recording just a while later.
You are one of my abusers, so I can damn right do that to you. I can kick you the fuck out of here for what the you've done to me. You've destroyed me.
What? How? All I've ever wanted to do is support.
Stop lying to me for once. Look at me in the eyes and stop lying to me. Stop being such a wimp.
All I've ever
Look at me and accept what you have done to me. Do you see what I've become?
where Brad continued the trend of blaming her for everything wrong in his life.
You've killed me! You promised me everything! You lied to me!
Before turning into a cartoonishly evil villain.
Look at me the eyes and say that again! Look at me! Tell me! Tell me! Tell me what the you just said! Tell me!
And attempting to kick her out again.
Get out of my house! Get out of my house!
I promise you. Don't do it, don't do it. Don't.
You're blind.
Don't.
These few minute-long recordings debunked every lie Brad had been spewing about Tina about his domestic violence arrest over the past couple of weeks. They were the final straw for the few fans who were still waiting for the full story. There was no justification for his behavior, and he knew this all too well. So, in a last-ditch effort to save some of his reputation, he uploaded another video titled "Sorry." Now, at this stage, no amount of apologizing could fix the damage. Even then, him pulling out an apology ukulele would have been better than what we actually got. Despite everything that went down, despite everyone seeing his true face and no one standing by his side, Brad still tried to play the victim card.
See, I'm really scared of her because she's smarter than me. When our relationship, I'm younger than her, and I never really had a strong foundation, at home.
Right alongside the mandatory tears to farm sympathy from anyone gullible enough to still believe him.
Getting a YouTube channel at 17 years old and then becoming really big, that fucks with your head and your ego. And yeah, she was a victim of that, absolutely. And right now she is getting the support that she deserves. And again, if you're just hate watching this, she is in a horrible situation right now.
Something I haven't mentioned till now is that starting with the SI video, Brad kept deleting everything he posted just hours later, and the sorry video was no different. Now, there were some rumors that his channel got hacked, especially since someone posted a Google Drive link on his community tab containing the two recordings right after, though it's also possible that this was the work of one of his moderators who still had access to the channel. In either case, one thing is super clear. No one likes Brad anymore. The little support he had left after the previous round of controversies is gone as well, replaced by mountains of hate from former fans who feel terrible for supporting an abuser in the past. The best course of action for Brad now would be to quit the internet and leave permanently. As a commenter puts it, he's not sorry for anything he did, he's just sorry he got caught. If he even felt remotely sorry, he'd quit the self-victimizing act, leave her alone already, and just abandon the internet altogether. Otherwise, he'll keep getting raked over the coals for the rest of his life, just like Pirate Software, who will never regain the support and trust he once had. Click the video on screen to find out more.